Hi everybody, it's Miss Brenner. I'm here to go over your Science Fiction Online Week 5 agenda. I hope you are all staying happy and healthy and taking good care of yourselves. We're going to talk a little bit about wrapping up this Midsummer Night's Dream unit. So just so you're aware that if you're watching this video, you're already getting step 1 completed, and if you need to go back and look at the slides, they're available in the Week 5 folder. For step 2, you need to complete all activities for the week. The assignments open at 10 a.m. on Monday and then close the following Monday at 8 a.m. We've already gone over grading policy and the expectations, so I'm going to go into week 5 expectations. Students are going to analyze their knowledge gained through the reading and discussion of the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've gained both as far as knowledge and personal experience to construct an interpretation of the character development throughout the play. Students will need to know literary terms, character names, character information, and elements of plot, along with being able to identify characters based on plot moments, reference characters by name, and identify and analyze characters with bias and empathy. So some essential questions that we're going to be addressing would be: how do characters change and grow throughout the play? How do the characters' positive and negative behaviors move the plot forward? And how do these characters embody our bias towards humanity in our own society? So let's talk about Activity 1, which is going to be our final project for our Midsummer Night's Dream unit. So in the Activity 1 folder, you'll be able to find the rubric, which you'll need to read over for the final project for the Midsummer Night's Dream unit. You're then going to need to review the grading rubric. So the first rubric tells you all the different expectations and how to complete the project. The grading rubric is a diagram that just shows you the point value for each part of the project. And you're going to need to read and review both of those documents in order to be prepared for this project. You will need to then determine the format you will use for your project. So there's 2 different project options in that rubric. One of them is a creative writing style project, and the other one is more of a PowerPoint template style project where you do more of a comedic take on a dating simulation for our characters. So you're going to need to determine the format you will use for the project and contact myself as your teacher with any questions through Schoology. You will need to complete the project proposal, which is linked in the Activity 1 folder. It is a Google document where you, in about 5 sentences, are going to tell me what kind of project you are doing based on the rubric and what your goal is for the project. So what characters you plan on using, what style of writing you're going for, whether you're going for a more comedic take on our characters to kind of poke fun in a satirical way at their behaviors, or if you're going to take it as a more serious understanding as far as the bias and empathy towards the characters' behaviors and why they ended up in the state that they are. So you're going to have to describe that for me in your project proposal, about 5 sentences, so that way you can start the project. All right, Activity 2 is your project creation, which would be your rough draft. You're going to start working on your project for Activity 2. And that means that you're going to need to read the project rubrics as stated before and have a plan for the end goal of the project. So make sure that both steps in Activity 1 are completed before you start actually making your project. Make sure you check the rubric. If you have any questions about the rubric, please contact me. Activity 3 would be to revise your final unit project. That means that you need to go through some steps to make sure that your project is up to expectation before you submit it. That would include alterations to perfect the end product, reading your project out loud to yourself, so that way if there's any grammar errors you can fix those, and checking that the project meets the expectations of the project rubric. Your grade for the final project should not come as a surprise to you, because you have read the rubric so thoroughly that based on the expectations for the rubric, it is clear to you what your grade should be. That's how well I want you to read over the rubric. All right, Activity 4 is going to be the submission and the discussion review of your project. So you are going to submit your final project in 2 different steps. One of those steps is that you email it directly to me. whatever link you use. So if you use Google Slides, you're going to share and email me the link. So you will need to share the document with me and also email the link to me. If you do a Google document, like for a typed essay style, you will need to share and email the link to me. After you email your project to myself, then you will have to post the project link in the class discussion post and share the project with classmates for the review discussion. The discussion post means that you are going to read and review one other student's project linked in the discussion and offer feedback using the linked document in the folder. So the linked document gives you some suggestions as far as different ways to offer feedback. I'm asking that you offer some positive feedback as well as some suggestions and maybe a comparison of how you went with the project in comparison to how they went with the project. Good elements of both. Just realizing that different people have different interpretations of this play and therefore came out with two very different projects. And that would all be found in the Activity 4 folder for week 5. Activity 5 is Literary Lens Notes. So you've done notes in this class before. What you're going to do is watch an Edpuzzle of Literary Lens Notes hosted by myself and answer the questions on Edpuzzle. I recommend that you take personal notes from Literary Lenses from the Edpuzzle for yourself because we will continue to use literary lenses throughout all of our short story unit, which is what's coming next. So there are 4 different mini units of different types of short stories that fall under technology fiction, science fiction, high fantasy, and horror. So all of those different short story units are going to use literary lenses. So please make sure that you take notes on that if you have never used literary lenses prior to this course. Activity 6 is our silent reading, as it is every week. You are going to read for 90 minutes throughout the week. You can break it apart however you choose. You can read out loud to yourself or silently. Just make sure that you complete your 90 minutes before you do the discussion post. The discussion post is how have your opinions about the main characters of your novel or literary text changed throughout your reading experience? Do you better relate to one of the characters in comparison to the others? So that is going to be your discussion, and then you're going to go comment on one other student's discussion post about what they have been reading. So our grading then would be our Midsummer Night's Dream final project, which is 25 points. You will have your final project discussion post, which is 10 points, and then your final project discussion post, that's 10 points, is a separate thing from the project reflection, which is going to go in your portfolio. So if you whatever homeroom teacher you have should have a portfolio set up for you, and that is where you're going to post this final project reflection. So you will have had to have completed the project and completed the project discussion before you can complete the project reflection, which is going to be, I believe that was Activity 4's folder. Yep, that would be Activity 4's folder. All right, silent reading discussion post is 5 points as it is every week, which makes this week 5 total 50 points. If you have any questions, please remember that the points may differ. Please look at the rubric. Sometimes points get adjusted based off of anything that changes throughout the course or expectations based on the information that we have covered throughout the course. So please make sure that you are checking the rubric, checking online at your grades to make sure points may differ occasionally by like 5 points, 3 points, but for the most part, this is our expected and anticipated point guide for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Please get in contact with me before the week is over when the assignments are all due, so that way I can assist you in a more ready capacity. All right, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.